Stay tuned for today's Antidote, brought to you by the Renegade Success Network. Today's Antidote features a healthy dose of thought-provoking insights and information for business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and nonprofit professionals. Each day since March of 2020, this program has offered that one thing to help you continue on your own unique pathway to success. And now, Renegades, we bring you Bob Graham and Tom Brush.
Hey, I'm inside today. I'm inside today, Tom. I just went for a run. It's a little warm, and my face might be a tad redder than usual.
Well, it's darker. The total view is a little darker, but that's
yeah. I'm trying to figure out if I can fix that. Oh,
that doesn't matter. It's all good.
It's all good. That's it. Take what we get.
There's no doubt about that. We will take what we get.
We are managing my reentry.
Good. Back to work?
Yeah, it feels like I was completely out of work last week for a couple of days. I'm still kind of
out of it.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm someone, I don't know about you, but for me, I need routine. When I get into a rhythm and it's like, okay, 8 o'clock we do the program, 8:30 we talk about what we're doing in the next couple of days. 9 o'clock I do this, 10 o'clock I need that like consistency.
Okay, that's fair. So the fact that we're doing this at 4:18 on Monday afternoon is not helpful?
It is throwing me, yes. But that's okay. This is part of the joy of doing this, is we've figured out ways to make it work.
That's right. And if you didn't know, this is today's Antidote, where Bob and I get together and have a conversation about a topic of the week. And throughout that conversation, we hopefully provide some things that are beneficial for you. We hope if you have comments or thoughts or ideas as we go through this, please feel free to share them. And at the end, we'll each offer our one thing. And we hope that if you have something you'd like to share that would be beneficial for someone about our topic, please feel free to enter it in the comments. So this week we are talking as you didn't get from Bob's and our early conversation, is about reentry. Last week we talked about stepping away.
Hey, Tom, before we do that, can I do a promo?
Sure.
I'm fairly certain that we have a networking event this Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. I know you're saying, wow, Bob, how did you pull that out of the hat? I just realized it. So, folks, you want to come to our networking event. It is unlike any other networking event you've ever been to. I promise you, no elevator pitches, only engaging discussion that will lead you places with people that will actually spur interaction, collaboration, and ultimately business. So you can find all the details in the Ring of Renegades events page. We hope to see you there at 4 p.m. Eastern time this Thursday.
Yes, indeed. Hopefully you will be able to make it. It'll be great. So as we talked about, we were talking about reentry. Yesterday, we talked a little bit about what it means. And today we want to talk a little bit about managing it. And it was interesting as I got thinking about this and we came up with the idea of reentry. All I could think about was Apollo 13.
Yep.
And the whole concept of, well, if we don't hit reentry at the right place, they'll bounce off and go out into space. And it's interesting that I think sometimes that's what happens for us as we come back from a vacation, a conference, from stepping away. If we don't hit it with the right stride, and we talked a little bit about that yesterday, about being prepared, not only to leave, but also to re-enter. That if we are not prepared, we can have the same thing happen. We can get distracted. We can bounce all over the place. And before we know it, we haven't really re-entered. We've just stepped in and done some tasks or done some other things and found ways to be busy while not necessarily being as effective as we could be.
Or messed up other things.
Sure.
You know, nothing's worse than when the boss comes back from being away and you took care of things, and then the boss goes, oh, you did that? I would have done it the other way. Why don't you call them and switch that? Oh, okay. And, you know, the other thing is, I think as employees and entrepreneurs, it's difficult to get reacclimated. I think there's a rhythm of work that we get into. And I think when we have holidays on Mondays or holidays on Fridays, that can often throw us because now we're trying to get 5 days worth of work done in 4 days, and we're either anticipating that day off or dealing with that day off. And I'm a firm believer that 4-day weeks are the hardest, always. And I think reentry is difficult too, because I think you're trying to cram a lot of stuff into a short amount of time. Because I've had jobs, this job isn't like that, but most of the jobs I've had, when you leave for a week, you're double timing the week before you go away and you're double timing the week after you go away because there's no one filling in for you. You're responsible for your work.
Unless you plan for that.
Unless you plan for that, or you have a team that supports you in a way that you can do that. You know, you and I do a good job of supporting each other. It's like, oh, I can't do that this week, Tom. Okay, I'll take care of it. But that's because we're both focused on the same goal and we know it's a give and take. We're not keeping score. One day you pick up the ball and deal with the difficult situation. The next day I do, or the next week I do. And if you're focused, and I think that's what it is with any kind of role, if you're focused on doing what's right for your customers, that reentry is going to be a lot easier.
Sure. And I think also if you have a plan for it, you know, I think sometimes people will not plan for it, and that's okay. You know, then I know there are times that I have gotten back from vacation or gotten back from a conference late and had to be back in the office first thing the next morning. And you go in and you didn't really have time to sort of debrief from whatever it was, travel, work travel, personal travel, conferences, to really sort of collect all of your thoughts and put a plan together to move forward. You just show up and, you know, typically what ends up happening is we address those things that seem to be most important, but aren't necessarily most important. Like how many email messages do we have and do we have to return? And do we have any voicemail? And not that they aren't important. It's just that they may not be the most important thing, the most important next step to take when you get in, or you really filter through and say, yeah, I can deal with some of these later, but here are the 2 really important things that I need to respond to, and do that. And then say, I can get to the rest later. And I think that's part of it. And it's almost like a daily routine as well. You know, in reality, we do walk away at some point during the day from our role, whether it's temporarily and then we come back, or it's the end of the business day and we come back the next day. So how do we re-enter that next day so that we're best prepared for what's going to happen, not hit it wrong and we bounce off into space and really start our day off ineffectively, which usually then leads to less and less effectiveness as you go throughout the day.
And there are probably some people saying, boy, you just described every Monday for me. Because I think some people struggle to re-enter work on a Monday after just going through the weekend. They've lost their place. They didn't leave themselves notes that said, hey, Monday morning, do this, this, and this. So now they've got to go scrolling through 80 emails to figure out what they were working on and what was important because they weren't writing that to-do list. I mean, I've found for me, one of the most effective ways to be successful is to write down at the end of the day the 2 or 3 things I've got to do the next day.
Sure. Well, I think that sets the stage, right? For here's what you're going to do. And then you can, and if you are effective enough to look at your day and determine, can I really get 2 or 3 things done? You know, I think so often we do that as just, okay, that's our habit. I'm going to write down the 3 things that I'm going to have that I need to get done. But I think as you shared in yesterday's show, your morning Monday was filled with a whole bunch of things. So it didn't really give you a chance. You might not have truly been able to get to 3 things. And I think we become in that habit of, okay, here are the top 2 or 3 things I need to do without looking at tomorrow and saying, well, wait a minute. I'm going to spend all morning in a meeting and then I've got a lunch appointment somewhere and then I'm going to come back and I've got these 2 projects I have to finish. How am I going to find time to do the other 2 things or the other thing that I said was critical to get done today, because that's the habit we're in, is that, oh, okay, I'm just going to come in and do this. Or the habit is first thing in the morning, I'm just going to come in and check my email and get that done, which is okay, as long as that's the plan and the intention that you have. And you base your day on, here's what the day has in front of me, and here's what I have left over from the day before, and not try to overwhelm ourselves.
And it fits what other people you interact with need from you. You know, that's one of the things I find that you and I have to coordinate our plans a lot more than we ever did before. Before, 2 years ago, was, Tom, you want to get together for coffee? Oh, I can do it Friday. Great, perfect. See you then. Now it's, we're hand in hand every day. Hey, we need to record this. When are you available? Hey, we need to do this. We need to do this. Are you doing this? And I think that communication is really critical to staying grounded and actually accomplishing what you need to accomplish.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about, just like anything else, how do you manage it? And it's interesting, as I was thinking about that, as we re-enter our work often, you go to the bathroom and you come back and now you're at it, things are different. And how do you pick up, especially if you look and see, oh, I got 2 new email notifications, or I just got a voicemail message. How do you...
And what works for you doesn't always work for me. And what works for one person doesn't work for another person. I think one of the things that I've found is with the people I've been working with, this is a sticking point. This is a consistent source of frustration and aggravation, so much so that in a couple of cases, people don't go on vacation. They don't take lunch to get away. They don't go to their kids' baseball games because they don't know how to build it in and re-enter effectively because they feel guilty. They feel frustrated. They're afraid not to be at the office because the big thing might happen and the whole building may collapse. And so working through that and understanding what's causing that can be really important to making work better. I told you I just took a run. I'm ready to hit the ground running. Well, excuse the pun. I'm ready to get back to work now after getting that hour away, getting some sun, getting some heat. And now it's like, okay, I'm ready to buckle down and work. And I might work till 8 or 9 this evening because I got the run that I would normally do in the evening done early because they're calling for bad storms tonight. And I didn't want to run in the rain. So there's a case of time shifting that I'm blessed with a job that allows me to shift the time. I have things I need to do today, but today can be 9 p.m. or 8 p.m. or 6 p.m., 5:30.
Well, and you knew that going in. If you just try to say, well, I've got to get a run in, but I've also got an appointment at 5. I'm supposed to meet some people for dinner at 7. I'm supposed to do, and I had 3 things that I had to accomplish and I haven't gotten them done yet. Those are the ways that we try to manage what it is we have in front of us to try to help it be effective. And I think that it's a hard thing to do. I think that there are not, people coming back from whatever it is, often I think struggle, and they're not exactly sure, like, okay, when I sit down, what is my plan? What are the things that I'm going to do? When I get back to my office, my workspace, whatever it might be, how is it that I'm going to most effectively use my time? And I think, and you posted something today in the Ring of Renegades, or yesterday, Monday, about effectiveness, right? And workers and how much time they actually spend focused on trying to accomplish their job rather than just put in their X number of hours. And
1 out of 3 employees are engaged in work, according to a new Gallup survey. 1 out of 3. That means 66 to 67% of your employees have checked out. And I will tell you, for an entrepreneur, I don't think those statistics are that far off. I think one of the things I've noticed with the people I work with is time management's tricky.
Sure.
And once you get, they log the time, but not the work. And when you start doing the work, the number of hours they have to work is less because their engagement is more focused. And it's like, I was talking to someone the other day and he's like, I'm most effective from 6 a.m. to noon. I was like, oh, that's great. He said, so why don't we do a call at 1 o'clock? Because I want to write in the morning. I've got some things I've got to do that I've got to be on my game, like totally in. By the time 1 o'clock comes, we can talk. I'm ready to talk. That would be really good. It's like, that's beautiful that he knows his schedule well enough and knows what he needs. I'm a morning person. So if you tell me we're going to have a meeting at 9 p.m., I'm like, oh. Now, if you tell me 5 a.m., I'm there for you.
Okay. We don't need any of those 5 a.m. meetings. Just saying.
I will be up tomorrow morning at 4 a.m.
Good for you.
Yeah.
So, Bob,
as
we look at trying to manage reentry, what's your one thing?
I think it's that you have to be honest with yourself. And the first couple of days back after being away, or the first hour back after going to lunch, isn't probably going to be your most effective hour. You're not going to do everything. I've been the one who, when I go on vacation, I leave a list for myself of like 30 things I'm going to do when I get back. And then I come back and I'm like, I can't do all those things. What was I thinking? That's so silly. So it's really planning, like you said, and being honest with yourself. That first day back, if you've been away for a week or two, it's not going to be as effective as you would like it to be. And when people come back to the office from working at home, you're not going to just sit right down at your desk at 9 a.m. on Monday and be totally back in the zone, the most effective person ever. You are going to spend time at the water cooler. You're going to have everyone asking, oh my God, you look so tan. Oh, you changed your hairstyle. Oh, you're going to have to figure out where your monitor goes because you took it home. You're going to have to figure out where does the copier still work, or did they change the code on that? There's a million little things that are part of reentry. Just like if you watch the movie Apollo 13, they had that extensive checklist.
Sure.
And even with the checklist, they were afraid they'd go off course. Were it not for the one guy going, hey, I'm doing some calculations, I think you're off a little.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, is that it's even with the best laid plans, we can still find ways to get off course as we come back in, because we aren't exactly sure what's going to hit us, right? You leave for lunch, you leave for the day, you leave for a week, you come back, things could be different. And even with the best laid plan of, okay, when I get in there, I know that I'm going to have to deal with this, and this, all those things you just talked about. And so I'm going to limit and kind of understand what the boundaries are going to be. Or I'm going to, I'm going to work a little bit later because I know people will be gone and I can be more focused, which is great until you get in there and things have changed. And now you have to adjust based on, now your boss calls you in. The co-owner says, hey, we need to get together because we had this challenge that happened overnight or this morning. And now we need to figure out what are we going to do next. And so I think that always being prepared is awesome. And it allows you to have a better chance of being able to manage when you come back, when you re-enter, and being flexible enough to know that sometimes that's not going to work. And then how do you adjust to that and continue to manage that moving forward in a way that will be not only effective, but also efficient so that you can cover all the things that you wanted to cover in the time frame that you had hoped.
I think that's great, Tom. So, folks, if you like what we've been talking about, a couple of things you can do. One, join our Ring of Renegades Facebook group if you haven't done that yet. Now, I know Tom likes to tell you this. It's a private group. Or Tom likes to say, it's a private group. There's a reason for that. It's a private group because we want it to be a safe space for people to talk about the issues like what we're talking about today. So it's a group where someone could say, I struggle every time I go on vacation to not call the office every 10 minutes to make sure things are okay. And the group would be supportive of that and not criticize that person, but say, hey, I used to feel that way. Have you thought about this? Or what's the worst thing that can happen? We're trying to build a group. We've got over 1,000 people in the Ring of Renegades Facebook group and growing. We're trying to build a space where people can actually talk about the issues related to work realistically, honestly, so that they can become more successful. That's one thing you can do. 2, you can mark your calendar for that networking event, June 24th. That's right, 4 p.m. I love watching Tom's face as I do this because he's just like, is he going to pull this off? And then the third thing you can do, folks, if you want to turbocharge your whole entire work environment, join our Renegade Success Network. We are helping leaders, managers, business owners, entrepreneurs, wannabe entrepreneurs figure out their own unique pathway to success. They're willing to break the rules of how things have always been done to do it. They want to do it. I was talking to someone in the insurance industry, and I was working with her, and she was saying, this is how the industry operates. I don't want to be that person. And I'm like, yes, let's go. Let's make it happen. And Tom's the same way. It's anything is possible if you're willing to say it out loud. And Tom and I would love to help you get there. And you may say it's impossible. It's this dream. Hey, I'll tell you right now, I love to hear people's dreams. I won't even charge you for you to have a call with me. Tom won't charge you for a call with him just to describe what your dream is. But I will almost guarantee, unless you want to be the first person to Saturn, Tom and I are probably going to say, okay, so what's the first thing you need to do to get there? And you have no idea how empowering that is. Tom and I have done it with each other countless times. And every time we do it, one of us walks away with an epiphany like, whoa, this isn't as bad as it was going to be. For me, one time it was about being able to use my rowing machine. For Tom, it was about career stuff. And for me, it's been about career stuff. It's not as hard as it looks. And we want to help you make it easier and more clear. So if that's of interest to you, join our Renegade Success Network. I know in a second, Tom's going to play the promo for it, which gives you even more details. With that, folks, really enjoy it. Sorry we had to tape this one. Hope you enjoyed it anyway. We will be live tomorrow morning for the next episode of today's Antidote.
Wow.
Look at that.
You wrapped it all up. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. Have a great day. And as Bob mentioned, here's some further information about the Renegade Success Network. Take care. Are you struggling to make your vision a reality? Are you stuck and don't know what to do next? Are fear and doubt holding you back? The Renegade Success Network will help you determine the next steps on your pathway. Here is some of what you will get. Create your pathway call to start you on a better path. Unlimited laser solution sessions to keep you from getting stuck. Nurture your network events to build your network with other successful leaders. Monthly Renegade challenges to prepare you for what lies ahead. The Renegade Success Vault, giving you access to videos, tools, and tips on specific topics anytime you need them. And the Renegade Success Network community, an exclusive Facebook group of like-minded renegades, all working towards achieving their goals. You have a choice. Do it yourself and fumble forward slowly and alone. Or join the Renegade Success Network and be part of a community built to help you find your own pathway. Join today at renegadesuccessnetwork.com. Act now and jumpstart your journey on your own pathway to success.